Welcome to the Old Lumens channel again. Today I'm doing something a little different. I've caught the paracord bug and I've decided to make my own jig for doing some paracord lanyards. I wanted to do it a little bit simpler and maybe a little bit cheaper than with some of the ones I've seen. I don't know if it ended up any cheaper, but what I did was I went to the hardware store to Lowe's and bought a 2-foot piece of 1x6 and a 2-foot piece of 1x4, and they're poplar. That's the poor man's hardwood. And I wanted to make it so it was fairly simple for me if I was doing this at home. I didn't want to have a bolt and a lock nut and all that kind of thing. I just wanted to be able to slide my jig up to whatever length I wanted. So I went ahead and made my top piece by cutting off a section of the 1x4, screwing it down. That'll hold and I'm just going to use these screw eyes and open them up. Maybe I should hold them like that, huh? Yeah, you can't see. Use those screw eyes right there and open them up. That'll work for the top. And I wanted, like I say, I wanted the bottom to be movable easily. So I cut another piece of this 1x4. And I thought, okay, if I'm not going to clamp this down, I got to find a way to make this not want to lift up in the air if I put tension on it. If I put dowel pins straight in, I think it would still cock and lift up. So I said, okay, I'm just going to put those dowel pins at an angle. Alright, and you can't see. You can see now maybe. Okay, I put the dowel pins at an angle. So anyways, I went ahead and marked this out for a total of 18 inches. Okay, I'm going to be doing probably nothing more than 16 inches. I can go farther. I got a little bit more left here. But I wanted to take these angled dowel pins and put them towards the back of the upper block. So I marked 2 inches down, and then I drilled on an angle. And yes, Jack, this is by hand. I drilled on an angle for these pins. Then I went ahead and turned the block around, and without the pins in it, I went ahead and took my drill and I just used my clamps and clamped this down every inch and used it as a fixture to drill the holes in the longboard. Okay? Then I went back, and these are fairly tight. These pins are tight in these holes. So I went back with a little bit larger drill and drilled all these again to make it so that they'll slide in fairly easily. Okay, so now I have an adjustment from 16 inches up to, right now, I think it'll go up to 4 inches. Okay. Then for the back section here to hold paracord, I'm just going to take one of these clamps and I'm going to screw it down right on top of that, and then just use that clamp to hold the paracord. At least that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going to try and see what happens. You know, either it's going to work or it's not going to work. But it ended up being something really simple. You know, it took all together maybe an hour to an hour and a half to do this all together. I figured materials, the poplar's pretty cheap. The poplar boards were like $3 and $4. The pins, I got those from Lowe's as well, and the pins that came with 4 pins in a package, but they're short pins, so that's why I have my little soldering torch over here. I actually had to solder 2 pins that are 2 pins each together to get them long enough to where they worked for this. So I got to do a little bit of soldering on a wooden project. Anyways, I think that about covers it. Hopefully I'll be able to do some paracord lanyards now. Thanks for watching.